Rain fell over the tall glass towers of the city as the single-dad CEO named Adrian Hale rushed toward his office lobby with a tired mind and a heart full of unfinished worries. His usual morning rhythm broke when he heard soft footsteps behind him, steps that held fear and hope at the same time. He turned and froze when he saw a small boy, around 7 years old, standing there with a school bag that looked far too old and worn for a child his age. The boy held a dry piece of bread in both small hands, and his voice trembled as he spoke. "Sir, Mommy has not eaten since yesterday, and she said this expired bread is still fine, but it tastes very bad. Can you share some of your food with her? I know you are busy, but please." Adrian looked at the child and felt something inside him shift. He had seen desperation in business, but never like this, never from a child whose eyes were filled with silent storms. He leaned down slightly, trying to understand the situation, but the boy stepped back in fear as if he was used to being shouted at by strangers. Adrian softened his tone and asked gently, "What is your name?" The boy looked at the floor as if answering might bring trouble. He whispered, "Aaron. My mommy is sick and she says she will get better soon, but she keeps getting weaker. She sends me to school anyway, but today I could not leave her like this, so I came here because people say big bosses like you can help anyone." The lobby grew quiet as the boy spoke words too heavy for someone so small. Adrian felt a sharp ache run through his chest. He had grown up with everything while this child lived each day as a battle. His mind wanted to ask 100 questions, yet he sensed the boy had already used all his courage to speak. Adrian stood up and motioned for him to follow. But Aaron shook his head quickly. "No, sir, I cannot go inside. The guards told me earlier that poor kids should not stand here. I waited outside until you came. I only need a little food for Mommy. You do not have to help me more." Those words sliced through Adrian. Poor kids should not stand here. He felt a surge of anger at the cruelty of the world. He took a slow, deep breath, then looked at the boy with a seriousness that made Aaron lift his eyes. Adrian said, "Show me where you live. I want to see your mommy myself." Aaron hesitated, fear flickering across his thin, tired face, but he nodded eventually, because hope was the only thing he had left. Aaron led Adrian through old streets that twisted like forgotten memories. The farther they walked, the more broken the surroundings became. Paint peeled off doors. Windows were cracked. The air felt heavy, as if the neighborhood had not taken a full breath in years. Adrian followed, silently shaken by the contrast between his world of polished offices and this world of quiet suffering. Aaron stopped near a small building with uneven stairs and whispered, "We live here. Please do not get scared. It is very small." Adrian looked at him and replied with calm sincerity, "I am not here to judge you. I am here to help your mommy." Aaron guided him up the stairs, then pushed open a wooden door that creaked like it was crying. Inside the room, the air smelled of damp walls and stale bread. There was almost no furniture except a thin mattress, a broken fan, and a small table with empty medicine strips scattered like fallen leaves. On the mattress lay a woman, pale and weak, struggling to sit up when she heard footsteps. Her voice was soft. "Aaron, sweetheart, you should be in school. Why did you come back?" Aaron rushed to her, gently placing the expired bread beside her. "Mommy, I found someone. He can help you. He is a big boss." The woman looked at Adrian and tried to stand, but her legs trembled. Adrian stepped forward and knelt beside her. He did not know why, but he felt a deep connection to this stranger, a sense of responsibility that came from something far beyond business or charity. She tried to smile despite her pain. "I'm sorry, sir, my son must have bothered you. He does not know how hard life is. I told him not to ask strangers for help, but he is still young and hopeful." Adrian shook his head and said firmly, "He did not bother me. He did something brave. He protected you." Tears filled her tired eyes. Aaron held her hand tightly. Adrian saw how thin her arms were, how exhaustion had taken over her. He realized she was not just hungry. She was sick, very sick. He asked gently, "How long have you been like this?" She looked down, ashamed. "Months. I lost my job and then I got sick. The medicines are expensive. I try not to eat so Aaron can have enough. Today he tried to give me bread that expired last week. I could not bring myself to eat it." Aaron lowered his head, thinking he had failed her. Adrian placed a hand on his shoulder. "You did the best you could, but now it is my turn to help." The woman looked at him, shocked, unable to understand why a powerful CEO would care about a stranger in a forgotten building. Adrian stood up and said, "Get ready. Both of you are coming with me." Aaron gasped and his mother shook her head weakly. "No, sir, we cannot. We do not belong in your world. People will stare at us. They may ask us to leave, and we have nowhere else to go after." Adrian stepped closer, his voice steady and filled with the kind of conviction that could move mountains. "If anyone dares to ask you to leave, they will answer to me. You are not alone anymore. Not while I am standing here." The room fell silent. Aaron looked at him with wide, hopeful eyes as if witnessing something magical. Adrian gently lifted the weak woman into his arms. She tried to protest, but he spoke softly. "Let me do this, please." Adrian carried her down the stairs while Aaron followed, clutching his small backpack close to his chest. Outside, the world suddenly seemed brighter to the boy, as if hope itself had taken form in the man leading them. Adrian placed the woman in his car and Aaron sat beside her, holding her hand tightly. Adrian drove them straight to the best hospital in the city. Nurses rushed forward, recognizing him instantly, but their eyes widened when they saw whom he had brought. Adrian spoke with authority. "She needs full treatment. Do not delay anything. Put everything on my account." Aaron watched in amazement. He had never seen adults listen with such urgency. While his mother was taken for tests, Aaron sat beside Adrian in the waiting area. There was silence for a while before Aaron finally whispered, "Sir, why are you helping us?" "We are nothing to you." Adrian looked at him with a tenderness he did not show to anyone else. "When I was your age, I lost my father. My mother struggled alone. I know what fear feels like when you think you might lose the only person you have. No child should live like that. Not while I can do something." Aaron's eyes filled with tears. He wiped them quickly, embarrassed. Adrian gently touched his shoulder. "You are strong, Aaron. But even strong people need help sometimes." Hours passed and the doctor approached with a concerned expression. Adrian stood quickly. The doctor explained her condition. It was serious but treatable with proper care, rest, and steady nutrition. Aaron sighed with relief, but his face turned worried again, because he knew treatment cost more than anything they could ever afford. Adrian placed a reassuring hand on his back. "Do not worry. I will take care of everything." Aaron nodded slowly, his trust growing like a fragile flower finally given sunlight. When night fell, a nurse brought a meal tray for Aaron. He hesitated, looking at it, then whispered, "Can I save some for Mommy when she wakes up?" Adrian smiled gently. "She will get her own meals now. Fresh meals, not expired bread." Aaron smiled softly for the first time that day. Days passed, and the hospital room slowly transformed into a place of healing. Aaron stayed by his mother's side, reading stories to her and telling her how the big boss had helped them. Adrian visited every day carrying little things. Aaron needed a new pair of shoes, a warm jacket, books, and sometimes just his presence, which slowly began to feel like safety. The woman gained strength and color returned to her face. One afternoon, as sunlight streamed through the window, she looked at Adrian with gratitude, overflowing in her tired eyes. "Sir, you have done more than anyone has ever done for us." "I do not know how to thank you." Adrian shook his head gently. "You do not need to thank me. Just focus on getting better." Aaron tugged at Adrian's sleeve and whispered something shyly. "Sir, when Mommy gets well, can I show you my school? It is not big, but I want you to see it because you helped us so much." Adrian smiled in a way he hardly ever did in his corporate world. "I would be honored to see your school." Aaron beamed with joy and looked at his mother, who smiled too, her eyes soft and hopeful. It had been a long time since she had seen her son smile like that. Adrian stepped back, taking in the sight of the little family slowly rebuilding itself. Yet deep inside he felt something else growing, a powerful need to protect them, to make sure they never faced darkness again. He did not fully understand it, but he knew one thing. This was only the beginning.